Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pan American Team League, sorry, Season 1 matchup. This is week 3, and today we are going to be watching SouL Gaming versus VeXx. And these are two teams that are both 2-0. They both won their week 1 and week 2 matchups. Looked like SouL had the tougher matchup, but they managed to barely eke out a win. So I'm pretty excited about this. Should be very interesting to see how these two titans match up against each other. Once again, I'm not too familiar with these teams. Like, I know for sure that I have been on SouL at one point, because that was just one of those teams I just randomly joined whenever I felt like it, you know. But I think I was SouL R beater. But yeah, that's a long time ago. and I've never heard of VeXx, so I'm very interested to see how they're going to do it. I'm going to start out with Baekdu versus F10EQQ, then move on to Neon Sword versus Ultra. Then we're going to have a lovely 2v2 on a 2v2 map, actually, that's called Hannibal. And I'm really excited for that. That's usually real fun. Then we're going to move on to Crew versus GG and then if it needed, there's going to be an ace match. So it's best out of 5, first to win 3 wins. So it could potentially end at 3 games, but it could go all the way to 5. And you can reuse players, so that means that you play a 1v1, you can also play in a 2v2. Yeah, you can see Babo here. He can also play in the 2v2, and then he could also play in the ace match if he's just on a roll, right? So that's how it works. I don't think we should waste too much more time, so let's just get into the first map. Here it's gonna be on Peaks of Baekdu. Oh, that's pretty interesting map for sure. I'll show it off here. This is a pretty old school map. You can see it has these minerals here. And I can't remember if these are stacked and there's more minerals, but at the very least there's 40 minerals here. It's probably just one, but I can't remember for sure. And then there's a ramp down here. Then there's this high ground that's really dangerous for you, and then you can move over here to your expansion here. And of course there's also a ramp here, and you can open it up here. So you can gain real easy access to this if you mine it out. But yeah, we have F10EQQ, which is of course what you type once you lose a game. And you just leave it. So hopefully that's not going to be his fate here today. And then we have SouL Z Babo. In SouL, they always put like their race in the middle here. So it's always confusing if they played something else. And if you played random, you just put an R in there, right? And then on this map, you can see you can move up here, and then there's this expansion that's pretty normal to be taken. And then there's also again this. But it's a weird map. This is a pretty small ramp. This is a really small choke. Like only small units can pass through it, like Zealots and Hydras and Circlings and that kind of stuff. And then Dragoons cannot, so then you have to go all the way around. But we'll see here. This Circ's gonna go for a pretty early pool. It's gonna be an over pool, so pretty standard. And then the Protoss is going for an in-base 1 gate so far. We'll see if he adds gas or if he adds 2 gates or if he goes for like a Forge expand. There's a lot of different options that you can go for, and it might just be that he feels uncomfortable with this really wide choke that the ramp is actually pretty far away from, right? Like it's difficult to block Circlings from running up this ramp while also defending the natural. So I think that's why he's opting for the in-base one. Overlord making his way across. He's gonna spot it, and it's actually gonna be a 2 gate. So an in-base 2 gate, probably the most old school build you can ever think of. And he could potentially like make a pylon in here just to like do some shenanigans, but he's probably just gonna make it his own base. Yeah, he will. This is a map that I most remember for Bisu just completely clowning on another Protoss and just making like a million mana pylons. Gonna be 6 Circlings right off the bat, and an expansion, and then a gas. So not a 3 hatch build that we often see, but it's gonna be just a 2 hatch gas, and he might just go for a quick link speed and then add a 3rd hatch, or you know, he might go into Hydras or might go up to Lair and then into Mutas or Lurkers. We will see. We see like F10EQQ. He's just gonna block his ramp immediately. He should know that he doesn't need to. Well, I guess he's not really using this probe. This might have just vanished in the night. So it could get in some really good scouting. I'm very interested to see what the first 100 gas gonna go to. And a 2-gate build like this is it can be very scary for Zerg, but at the same time it's also pretty uneconomical for the Protoss. It's just that if the Protoss at any point gains the edge, then it's very difficult for the Zerg to catch back up, because the Protoss can build probes behind this, whereas the Zergs usually have to spend all of his larva building circlings, and then he's not building drones, and then his economy just goes completely to waste. Yeah, so far, just playing it very passively, not really pushing, and he's actually gonna just add a gas. So it's been a very passive game so far. Like, either team not even moving out. Like, normally, if I was a Zerg, I'd just put my Zerglings down here, right? Because once these cells move out, then you want to be able to... Is this a new thing? Yeah, you can select all of them. That's kind of weird. Alright, I'll take it. Cybernetics core being added, sunken colony being morphed. I'm usually, as a Zerg, you want to have like an overlord here and an overlord here, just to make sure you don't get any kind of DT rushed at all. This probe is still here, so he's probably saving it for like, if he just comes in here and spots like the perfect spire, right? Then it's perfect. You could also add cannons up here. It's definitely been seen before, because you can like put a cannon here. If you put a pylon here, you can also then build a cannon down here. I think it's a little bit late for that, but the Protoss actually moved out, and so far you can see Babo, he's not really too comfortable in this situation. He's taking a fight up here, even though he has a sunken down here. He's losing a lot of circling, and these cells, they're not even weak. So this could be very scary. If the Protoss just like goes in from this side and kills a lot of circling, he can just run up the ramp. So this is pretty scary for the Zerg. Pro's gonna just move in here, but he sees the sunken colony and then backs off once he sees it. There's no speed on these circlings still, so he's going all out for getting gas for his mutas, and then he's adding. The Protoss is adding Corsairs at home, at least the Stargate. And yeah, look at that. He actually rightfully recognized that everything was just open up top. This probe has still not moved. Like, at some point he's gonna have to scout this, right? It's kind of weird that he's not using it. Maybe he has bigger plans for it. Maybe not. And it looks like it's just going to be like a Corsair DT opening, and then you get out the Corsair, you kill whatever overlords are close to you, and oh, he finally did something with it, but it got scouted. So I think he's just going to cancel this, and then move in here and try to scout. There are actually Scourges and Mutas coming out. And finally he gets rid of these last sellout here. But I actually like to see the Protoss be more aggressive here. I feel like it's really, like, if you have a bunch of cells, it's really advantageous to move out on the map, because you force the Zerg to make circlings, and then they can't make other things like drones and Mutas. Kind of poke in here just to see what's up. He's probably like looking for cannons. This has still not been dealt with. Okay. Very optimistic second cannon. He's definitely not going to get built. So at this point, surely he's going to move in here. Nope. So he doesn't even get a scout off. That's a bit unfortunate, but at least he does find out that they're mutas, so there's not a whole lot else to scout. And Babo has even sent in a single course or a single skirt here to scout everything. Cell speed's coming up. No Templar Archive just yet. Usually in this kind of situation you want to either mass Corsairs or you want to mass Archons. And actually, crucially, Babo doesn't realize that this cannon is not done yet. So he could have actually gone in here and just taken this down and basically won on the spot, but I guess we've confirmed he's not map hacking. But he will actually like force F10 EQQ out on the map, and this could be kind of disastrous here for him, because he could have just retreated to the cannon. He split up his Zealot now, but he's still losing a lot. And Mutalisk is still coming out. And all gas is just going to Mutalisk right now. Yeah. It's like 7 Mutalisks, that's beginning to get scary. Like, I don't remember the exact number of Mutalisks you need to two-shot a cannon or 3-shot it. But like, it's getting there. Alright. Yeah, you need like 11 Mutas, I guess. You can two-shot it, a cannon. These gateways are completely unprotected. It's going to be all up to these Corsairs, and he actually needs to just go in here and like take some pot shots, I think. Otherwise, he could just be completely dead. But look at this, he's just building up money right now. Not even building on these gates. Singles. So down here, not doing anything. Yeah, these skates just going down. It's so crucial. And is he not mining gas with? I think he's mining gas with 2 tropes as well. So that's really unfortunate. F10E. Ah, it's so difficult to say. F10 EQQ. He actually baits out the scourges quite well here, but the Gators have gone down. He's going to have to add some more because there's no way he's ever taking an expansion if he doesn't make more units. He's also going to try to run up the ramp, but there's a nice block here from Babo. He's not going to fall for it. It looks like that's going to be it. F10 EQQ has pressed F10 EQQ and left the game. So that's going to be map number 1 in favor of SouL. They take it quite handily. It's I'm a little surprised that we didn't see that probe being utilized more to scout it earlier, because then he could have built more cannons to protect his gates, and that would have been a lot better, I think. But either way, we're moving on to set number 2. It's gonna be on ICOP destination 1.1. Let's go. Gonna see SouL T Ultra spawning in the top, and then we're gonna have VeXx Neon Sword. Apparently his entire name couldn't fit in it. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Alright, but this is once again a map that features these minerals down here and then an alternate path. It's pretty interesting. We see 2 maps in a row. This time around it kind of goes back here. There's a back alleyway, which is like a pretty bad expansion down here, and then this is a pretty decent expansion. But it's mostly used for some sort of harass. Sometimes we see dragoons or vultures or tanks go back here. We sometimes see lurkers being placed. Sometimes we see like someone being sneaky and mining this out. These have 0 minerals, so one worker can mine this out. It just takes a while. I don't remember how many patches there are. I don't know if there's like 12 or 18 or 10 or 9. I don't know. I can't remember off of the top of my head. So, but yeah, and then you have this natural, which is pretty defensible because there's these 2 bridges out of it. That's tiny choke. That's a tiny choke. Very easy to defend. And then as far as a 3rd base goes, you can go either over here or you can go over here. This is the most normal one to take because then you also have this back expansion, and you're protecting yourself from flanks going back here and messing with your mineral line or going into your main. So it's most normal to go over here. So far, both players are playing it completely standard. Yeah, and then and also I should probably mention, like in this middle here, you have these 2 or 3 bridges, kind of cutting the map in half. So very often it's gonna be like you have to pick a side, and then you're gonna have to go that way. Because if you take one side of the map, then usually the other tank can take the other one. Yeah, TVT is a matchup that's very kind of based around how do I get my 4th base, like almost more than any other, because like you know you're going to get your natural, and you know you're probably also going to get the expansion that's close to you. But how about this one over here or this one over here, right? Like that's not set in stone, and you're gonna have to try and shut it down and put on some pressure. So maybe if you want to shut down this base, then maybe you need to have air superiority. So you're gonna see some more wraiths. Like, so that's usually how like the late game will dictate the early game from Terrans and TVT. Looks like it's gonna be completely standard for both players. Yep, first factory's going up. TVT is one of the matchups that's probably the hardest to cheese in. Like you can do Marine SCV all-ins, but it's very difficult to make work when your opponent also has SCVs. Right. But it's very interesting to me to see, like, some Terrans really prefer to have a lot of vulture openings where they will just mass vultures, gain map control, and then put mines down everywhere, and there's no real good detection for Terran for a very long time. Like they need a pretty critical mass of units before they can even start to move out without just getting blown up by mines and bleeding forces. So even though Vulture is just the worst, basically, there's still this really crucial unit in the early game, and this looks like Ultra has actually cut gas quite a bit, so he might be going for an early expansion. And so will Neon Sword. Yep, he's completely... No, he's just kind of caught gas. He's going to start out with a Vulture. Looks like Ultra is going to start out with a Machine Shop. So we'll probably go for the earliest tank. And we see Ultra's made quite a few more Marines, but I'd actually like to see the Marines go out here and block. But I guess they're worried about some kind of rush. If there's any kind of aggressive opening going on, it's easier to hold your ramp, but then they're going to lose this command center anyway. It is also interesting that Ultra decides to do it in base, even though he's made more Marines. So he's playing it a lot more conservatively than Neon Sword, and Neon Sword is kind of gaining a tiny advantage as a result. We'll see. They're both back to full gas mining. This is a very gas-intensive matchup. Like you want Wraiths, you want dropship, you want tanks, you want Goliaths, you want upgrades. They all cost a lot of gas, and then you'll end up with a bunch of minerals that you'll probably just spend on command centers and vultures and turrets, usually, and SCVs, of course. Wonderful Terror music. I'll never get tired of that. Yeah, it looks like it is going to be Spider Mines for Neon Sword, whereas you see Ultra is going for the tank opening. It's a much more sturdy opening, but he can very easily get trapped inside his own base until he can get scan or a lot of units and try to bleed away the mines. So Vultures, they will give a lot of map control, but you can't really, you can't kill anyone with Vultures. It's almost impossible. And if they also go Vultures, then you just have more. See the barracks being floated in here, just going to scout it. So Neon Sword knows exactly what's up here. Armory and factory being added for Ultra. So far, no starport for either player, and yeah, it's just going to be complete mirror build. It's just that Neon Sword was a bit faster. So the greed pays off here. Actually going to see a move out here. This could be pretty dangerous. We see all these bridges, they're mined off, but he might just be going for the back alley. We see the barracks is in perfect position to spot in here. And if he gets in here undetected, which it looks like he is, then he's gonna just wreck him. He only has one tank at home, and one tank can't get overwhelmed by a lot of vultures. But right now, I just don't think Neon Sword has any idea what's going to happen here. Also, this machine shop is not quite done finishing upgrading Siege mode, but it's gonna be very soon, and these are not mined. Yeah, this is gonna be a bad surprise coming out of the Neon Sword. This is just the worst feeling in the world. Just all of a sudden there's tanks. Tanks, they're really difficult to get away and uproot once they've been set up. Yeah, now Neon Sword is gonna be wondering how do I even stop this, right? He can try and mine this out, or he can run all the way around, but yeah, it looks like we even see Ultra, he's just going to not commit too fully to it. He's just content with the amount of damage he's done. Now he's going to try and run home, or maybe even set up shop here to deny it. Oh, he's actually setting up here, denying the gas. But it makes this one significantly more vulnerable, but it will win the first fight. So Vultures have actually gone in here to try and counter-attack. They're not focusing SCVs though. There's no way they'll ever beat these units. And now also is moving forward. Again, these mines are still here, but as long as he has tanks down here, he can just stay over on this side. Like, he doesn't need to go into the main or anything. Oh, he's just moving out here, I guess. Going to add things. No upgrades really, but yeah, Neon Sword, he's just going full on tank, so that means he's going to be super low on gas. He finally actually gets that tank away. But this tank up here is still going to deny the gas, and the gas is the most important part of TVT. So just absolutely crushing to have this tank just fire at this. There we go, it gets cancelled. And Neon Sword will actually expand over here. He's just like, I don't think I can deal with this. It's curious, like, I'm pretty sure he could have just gone in with some vultures and put some tanks up. And these tanks are just out of range, I believe. Maybe he just doesn't have vision yet. Oh, now they're moving up. See? Oh, did he kill a critter? What a bastard. But yeah, now he's even coming in from the front. This is just really scary right now for Neon Sword. I think he might He could just lose right here because he's pressured from both fronts, but he does have a lot of tanks. He needs to hold this at all costs. Also just going to move in very aggressively, but no, he sees these tanks, he knows he can't take this, so he will back off. He could still loop around, but he will not. He's just going to set up a contain and then probably expand himself. It's interesting, like he needs to spot this, but again, they're not map hacking, so it's very easy to miss these kind of things. There can be tanks with no SCVs, but other than that, it's kind of fine. And again, this one tank is just doing so much work. Just denying the gas. Having an extra gas in TVT is just so important. Yeah, also seems like a pretty conservative player. Like he's just taking it easy. These two tanks are going to go up here, see if they can deal with it. It's 2 against 1, but there's a pretty solid chance that they're going to miss. Oh. No, they will deal with it, so finally he can get his 3rd gas. But now we have these 4 SCVs. They're not going to do much. Oh, not SCVs, Marines, sorry. And here comes another command center. I thought that might be a 4th one, but no. Really solid macro and powering up right now from Ultra. He's playing extremely well. He's even going to set up some turrets. If as a Terran you can set up turrets like all the way around your opponent, then it's extremely beneficial to you. Again, we have C2 C tank up here. He's going to just siege up on this gas. Just once again shutting it down, and now Neon Sword just doesn't have the option of going his way. He might have to just mine this out and try and go that way. But Neon Sword, he's just going to power through it. There's 2 C tanks. He does have permanent vision here thanks to the engineering bay, and he will get the 1 tank. So great job by him just dealing with it in the first time around. It's pretty incredible. This is still not been spotted. It's really, really important. You can see he's very low on gas. This despite not even like mining minerals from up here. This is just a solid base from Ultra. So how does Neon Sword ever break out of this? He has made a starport, so he could start making dropships, and then he could maybe even ferry things down here and try and defend it with tanks. Because like once you get like a couple of C tanks set up here, it's pretty solid positioning, especially when you also have the high ground up here. At the same time, we might see Ultra do the opposite, where he's already set up out here. So he might just set up like this. Oh, this tank is actually not shooting at the gas, so it's actually kind of useless. It needs to go all the way down here or to reposition itself. Oh, these 2 vultures, they're gonna find out what's going on. They almost got blocked by the Scanted as well. I can't believe this base has still not been spotted. Right? No, I don't even need to check. It's definitely not been spotted. Also, I think he's just setting up to just build a ring of turrets around his opponent, and oh my god, here comes all the starport. So he might be doing a big Wraith switch. We see a 4th base going up. He's gonna have a shock when he finds this out. Yeah, he's just chilling. Okay, like there's no way you could do this if it was even ground, but he's just getting ready for it. Here comes the dropships. They're being made at the very least. But the macro is just faltering here. You can see, like he basically needs to amass a bunch of vultures if he's ever going to be able to spend all of his minerals. It's so difficult as Terran. There's a much better balance over on Ultra side. He's actually managed to be low on minerals instead of gas. That's pretty rare. But oh my god, I think he just spotted it. That's really huge. Yep, there we go. Oh, so rip this base. It was good while it lasted. He's still gonna put up a fight here. Neon Sword. He wants to keep this base at all costs, but I don't think it's going to be possible. In a single mine here, could take out this tank basically. Perfect. This base is definitely dead, and this is looking extremely difficult once again for Neon Sword. SouL just absolutely pounding. He's gonna try and do a massive break. It is only 4 tanks, but I say only. Tanks are scary. But yeah, the vultures do a really good job of actually tanking it. But oh my god, these mines are doing so much work. I think eventually Neon Sword will be able to break out, but this cost him quite a lot. And oh my god, these mines, once again, just doing so much damage. And here comes a lot of our vultures in. Like, if you have enough vultures, you can... Like, vultures, the one thing they're really good at is actually tanking tank shots. They don't die in one shot. Not initially, at least. So, it usually takes +3 tanks to kill vultures, assuming 1 armor. So here we go. Like, currently it's 4 bases to 2, so... Also, he doesn't need to do anything. Like, it looks kind of weird that he's not just taking on this army, because it's so weak. But, like, he doesn't need to. Like, he just needs to deny this base. He needs to deny this base. And maybe this. Not so much. And he's doing just that. And also he needs to, like, make sure that he can't get dropped through these sides. And he's also doing that. And he's gonna even take a 5th base over here. His main is not even close to being mined out. And he's just massing raids right now. So at some point, it looks like that's gonna be it. But here comes a big drop. It should be spotted by these spider mines. He might just move the Wraith to intercept. And this could just be a complete game over move. Alright. 1 dropship goes down. They don't actually manage to land at least 2 tanks here. But they're not really in a very good position otherwise. And this whole T Ultra is just completely on top of it. And that's going to be the end of that drop. The Wraith have now been revealed. So I think he's just going to have to move forward with them. There is a single turret, so like that can hold back a good 20 Wraiths or something, right? I think that's how turrets and Wraiths work. It's just infinite. Infinite amount. But this tank is not protected. He's actually even going to try to find this dropship to take that down. So that will remove any aggression. Just picking off these tanks. Tanks can't shoot up. It's just looking extremely difficult for Neon Sword. He's going to have to add Goliaths. It's just desperately upgrading range as well. And this is just a complete outplay here by Ultra. Just really showing some strength. You can see why these guys are 2-0. And making good headway towards being 3-0 here as... oh man, he's even gonna just move in there and pick off this tank. So now he can actually move up here and once again siege this gas if he has the multitasking to do it. So yeah, at some point Terran can just doom drop and overwhelm an army. It's a little bit difficult to do with Wraiths, but you know, there's actually no turrets inside of Neon Sword's base. So he might just go for that. Also again, all of these tanks are weak. Upgrades are even, so that's something. Neon Sword, he's going to move up here and try to secure this 3rd base. This is what he needs to do. Here comes these Wraiths. They're cloaked, so the Goliaths are not shooting back yet. He needs a scan to probably do it. There we go. He's going to do it, but the Wraiths are just not enough. 1 Wraith can only do so much, and now, yeah, these tanks are just going to die to the Wraiths. Gonna be just crushing. There's only 3 Goliaths here. It might just scare off the Wraiths, but no, he's just going in here. And he's losing a few, but I think he just has a critical mass of Wraiths right now. Like, once Wraiths start one-shotting things, they actually begin acting a bit like mutas, but no, there we go. Enough Goliaths have been made. And now here comes a big push from Ultra, just moving in with big tank and Goliath form. And that's going to be it. GZ have been called, and Neon Sword will lose, and that's going to be 2-0 in favor of SouL. Really high APM there from Ultra, so he's a fast dude. And now I know there was something in the document that said I had to read it, and apparently VeXx gave up after this. I guess they had some manpower problems or something, or they were just too scared by SouL's overwhelming power. So that's actually going to be it. It's going to be a win to SouL. They will be 3-0 so far, and I was very impressed with the play from both Batball and Ultra. In these, they basically just won it handily. Especially Ultra looked very, very strong. So I'll definitely see if I can catch SouL playing next week. I kind of want to watch them some more. But yeah, sorry about not being like a full matchup with all the games played. But presumably you only missed one more game. I'm a little sad I didn't get to see a 2v2. But that's gonna be it. So until next week, I've been Peter, and have a good night.